And we'll get rocking and rolling. Phone's dying. Everything's falling apart. Okay, so Lacey, are you on? Lacey is on. Okay, you guys, I'm super, super, super excited to introduce you to Lacey. Um, Man, I don't know if any of you know her. Andrea, Andrea knows her. Lacey is, wait till you hear her voice. She's the sweetest thing ever, like her little southern accent. I had asked her before, I'm like, Lacey, give me like a bio about you to introduce you. And she's like, I've never done that. But Lacey, I didn't know that you went to school, that you had your master's degree in holistic child development. That's so cool. You guys, she's only 25 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Married. Been married for a year. Her and her husband are just really awesome people, but her heart is huge. So I'm really grateful to get her on. We've been trying to make this work for a while, but she's been so busy. She is just always doing God's work. So I'm very proud to call her my friend, and I'm excited to have her on this call. You guys, take notes from her. This girl knows what she's doing. So Lacey, welcome. Thank you for taking time to be on here. I'm going to mute myself and let you share.
Okay. Thank you so much, Krista. I love getting to meet new teams and just seeing how different team dynamics function and being able to meet you guys and talk to you. So thanks so much for allowing me to join y'all's call. So like Krista said, I am newly married as of a year. I did my undergrad and my master's in Tennessee, but now I am living in Virginia. So when I started Isogenics, I was approached by it when I was pursuing my master's degree in holistic child development, which basically focuses on nonprofits and community work. So that's really where my heart was. That was my passion, doing something with orphans. I was really passionate, still am, about the country of Sierra Leone, and just knew that I would do something in that realm. So that's what I was going after. Watched a friend have an incredible experience, but I was super healthy beforehand. And so I was like, what could be different? I'm already really healthy. This just looks like some really expensive products that I'm not a fan of, just, drinking things. So that was kind of me before. But on the side, I was still struggling with stomach issues, which doctors couldn't figure out because I was so healthy. So it was just kind of like a catch-22 for me. But anyways, fast forward, my sister comes back from being a missionary in Mozambique, Africa, and she was also struggling with stomach issues. So I was like, I've been researching these products for like 9 months, so you should try their cleanse. It looks pretty legit. And so long story short, she had me jump in with her. And I have to be honest, when I submitted the order, which took me forever, and got the box, I was overwhelmed with guilt. Like, I thought it was the most selfish thing I could possibly have ever done to spend $300 on myself using these products for just me. Like, I really, really, really struggled with that, to the point I was gonna send back my box. I had a lot of convincing from my sister and the coach who signed me up and decided to stick with it, which I'm so grateful that I did. And my mindset has changed so much as a result. So my coach had kind of always casted a vision before me. She knew my passion for Africa. She knew my passion for orphans, just saying, like, what more could you do with this? Like, what more could extra money give you, help you to accomplish in this world? And so I was really cynical towards the business. I had a lot of preconceived notions. I wasn't going to be one of those people. I know you guys have probably heard stories like this, but that was completely me. But I think if I was honest with myself, I had that like lingering nudge within me, like, what if, like, what if I could do that? But still remain cynical. So a couple months after I joined, Celebration was coming up. So this would have been 2.5 years ago. celebration was coming up in San Diego, and basically my coach did everything she could to get me there because I just thought, okay, an expensive trip that honestly I've probably heard what I need to know about this company. Still don't know if I want to do it. Won't go into all the details. To me, it was pretty God's story of how I got there. And honestly, it changed absolutely everything for me. That's when the pieces completely clicked in my mind. I was able to see the larger vision of the company and the founders and just everything that the company stood for. And that was huge for me because for me, it's one thing to hear that and for people to say that. And, you know, of course they're passionate, they're pursuing this business. Like, that's what I thought. I'm like, of course they're going to play this up to me. But being there in person, I don't know how many of you guys have been to an event, but being there in person and actually witnessing it up close and personal, just on that personal level was everything for me that I needed to proceed forward in the business. And it was actually at that event that I had the mindset shift of it actually would be selfish of me not to share. And not only not to share, I believed it would be selfish for me to not continue educating myself and also immersing myself in the culture, because that was only going to make me better. That was only going to make me more effective in helping other people. So it definitely wasn't an overnight shift. I have to be honest about that. I really took it seriously to immerse myself in self-development. I started listening to tons of podcasts. I started reading tons of books. I sought out mentorship so that I could start changing that mindset. And early on, my mentor had said to me, you know, she had really challenged me. Are you taking this seriously as a business, or is this just a side hobby that kind of interests you? Are you interested or committed? And that was another defining moment for me, because it's like I wanted the business, but when I was honest with myself once again, I was just interested. I loved the idea of it. I kind of had the mindset, I'll take it if it falls in my lap, but not really this relentless pursuit of I'm going to do whatever it takes, because I really believe like this could be something great and this could really be a platform for me. So that was another defining moment for me, just realizing that I had to make the decision that I was either going to be committed to this, or this was just something that I was going to do on the side. And that's really when I saw my business start to change. I would say if you were to look back kind of on my income history, if you will, or just members joining my team, it's very evident when I made these mindset shifts, when I started committing, when I realized that it was selfish to not share with people, all these things. There was drastic increase in my business. Going to an event, every single time I've been to an event, there's a clear increase in my business. So all these things, just all in all, I realized that it was just a huge mindset shift for me. So just to continue fast forwarding so you guys kind of connect the dots with my story, I still am crazy passionate about orphans and Africa and Sierra Leone. And now, as a result of success in isogenics, my husband and I are running a nonprofit in Sierra Leone, Africa. And the reason I think that's amazing is because beforehand, I couldn't see that. Like, I couldn't see to connect the dots that something seemingly unrelated could be related in more of a way that I could ever realize, just thinking that it's because of this platform that's allowed me to do this. Because honestly, the nonprofit world without this, you're getting paid a really little money for tons of hours of work. And so I say that as encouragement to you, and whatever you are super passionate about, isogenics related or not, and being able to just look beyond and see if there is something more that Isagenix could be, if it could be a vehicle for you to pursue something that you really are passionate about, not just viewing it as, oh, talking to the next person and doing reach outs. That is important, and that is what this business is about, but there has to be a point where you're attaching it to something greater, and you're having to see that going to events, immersing yourself in the culture, doing self-development, being committed to these calls, just your team in general has a greater purpose than, just the mundane that it is. So that's a little bit of my story, where I'm at and where I have evolved from. Is there anything else, Krista, that I'm missing?
I didn't realize that you guys were able to start a nonprofit.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. The first time I met her, you guys, was in David and Angelique's basement. We were staying at their house for the 2-star retreat. Never met her or her husband. We're staying in the house. David and Angelique are not there because Angelique's mother is dying and she is with her mom. This is Arizona. It is hotter than hell. And their air conditioning broke. So we're in the basement. Remember their house, Lacey, was like 90-some degrees? It was insane. That's the first time I met her, sitting on the basement of Angelique's house. And she's just you guys, I have a hard time. She's 25 years old. And she's so mature for her age. Her heart, like, as you could just see, is huge. So I want to know, Lacey, what does a day in your life look like with Isagenix? Because you guys have grown fast. You've kicked butt. So what are you doing?
It's hard to say an average day because I feel like it changes so much, day to day, just kind of depending what's going on or the different season. But for me, it's a non-negotiable, just waking up, always spending time in the Word and praying, and also doing declarations and affirmations over myself, but also over my team. I'm really proclaiming the type of people that I want to come into my business, because to me, it is a ministry, and that is everything. Like, I want to run with people who are encouraging and loving and committed and want the best for people. So that's something that's non-negotiable for me. And then just otherwise, on a day-to-day basis, it is a must for me to get in the very minimum of my reach outs and my follow-ups and pouring love into people. Many, you guys probably have all have heard of the 3x3x3. I generally at least skip 5, but I try to shoot for more than that. And then usually an in-person meeting happens, but more often than not over the phone, just because, people are busy working around schedules, kids, all that kind of stuff. But making sure that I have goals each week for the amount of 3-way calls that I'm going to get on, and also just calls in general. And that's something, just to touch on, that I work on with my team, because oftentimes people think of goals and like, oh, I want to hit the 5-cycle bonus this week, or like be manager. It's like always this big goal, but like, it's okay to set goals for yourself that are like, how many 3-way calls do I want to do this week? Or like, how many people do I want to add to my list this week? And I think those goals are just as important, because it puts wins under your belt. It's something very achievable that's in your own hands that you can make happen while still going for those bigger goals. So that's kind of what it looks like for me.
Awesome. Do you guys have any questions for her?
Yeah, just wondering, how do you reach out, sharing like your passion project with the orphans, or how do you approach all that? How do you do that with your reach outs?
Yeah. No, I generally don't talk about that, actually. Surprisingly, I mean, it's a little bit situational, depending, like we were recently traveling there, and so it did come up in conversation quite a bit, but just on a day-to-day basis, that's not really how it works for me. Generally, I'm just connecting with people and taking interest in their life, asking tons of questions till I get to a point where I feel like I can interject with Isagenix. Not that I am trying to just, not listen and wait for the perfect opportunity to bring up Isagenix, but I've just realized through this many conversations that it always presents itself. Like somebody is always saying something to where Isagenix would be a solution for them. So my reach outs are fairly generic, talking about just seeing what they're up to. But another thing that I do for reach outs with people I don't know, something that's been really effective for me lately is, I don't know how many of you are in just groups on Facebook, and I don't mean other like network marketing companies, just like a generic group. Like one of the ones I'm in is Holistic Mama. Like there's a lot of, I'm not a mom, but I'm in that group. So, but anyway, so I will friend request people from these different groups, and how I will do the reach out is I will say, hey, thanks so much for accepting the request. I saw that you were also a part of X group. What are you loving about it? Or like ask a question about something that they commented on. So finding mutual ground is really helpful for those cold reach outs, because obviously you can't say, oh, how have you been? You don't even know them. So that's what my reach outs look like. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good. Do you guys have other questions? Anyone else? I want to know, Lacey, I think you did a call on this. Explain with your team how you and your team work together to all grow together. You do weekly Zooms too, right?
Yeah, well, I don't do weekly Zooms with my whole team. We kind of break up into small groups, like pairing people together kind of on their speed that they want to run, if you will. And that's kind of how we do it. So we have small groups of like 5 people, and it's a very intimate, committed group of people who are really striving to reach goals and also encourage everybody else to reach goals. So constantly in a text conversation, which is helpful because everyone's able to answer questions for each other and encourage each other. And then we actually schedule when we're going to do push weeks together. And what that means for us is that's just amping up the amount of times that we're going to do reach outs and follow-ups, and just the amount of people that we're talking to, and actually setting some big audacious goals that we're going for, and doing it together, and just talking about the importance of, we succeed by other people on the team succeeding. A lot of these people are sharing a leg and sharing that shared business volume. And so talking about the importance of everyone needing that volume. And so kind of the mindset of not letting these other people down as well. Obviously there's no harshness there, but there is that element of deeper accountability, which I think is necessary sometimes, because I know myself, without that, I can get really comfortable and have moments where I'm like, well, no one knows what I'm doing. And so it's helpful even for me for having other people saying like, did you do your reach outs today? Like you said you were going to do X amount this week. Like, has that proven to be true? Like how many times have you got on the phone? It's really challenging in the best way possible to do that with other people.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Really successful for our team to break it down like that.
Yeah. And, these, like all of these leaders here, if they have their own small group, doing a small group text group with them, or, something like that, just to hold each other accountable throughout the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely helps form deeper relationships too, which I feel like people always want the community of that what I found. Most people seem to really appreciate that. So helps develop the relationships as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. You've done so well. I love following you, and your Facebook Lives are really great. You're doing a really good job with that. I like what I've noticed is every time you do a Facebook Live, yes, you're sharing information, but you're adding value to people and providing something for them. You know, you do a really good job with that. So if you guys don't follow her, follow Lacey. She does a great job with her social media.
Thanks so much, Krista.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time to jump on. We'll let you go. We're going to talk a little bit about virtual events. So,
sounds good. Well, thanks again for letting me join on. And if anyone has other specific questions or want to talk more specifically about anything I talked about, feel free to reach out. I'm very much the one team mentality. So don't hesitate. All right, guys. Have a great night.
See you later, hon.
Thank you.
Isn't she awesome?
So awesome.
Yeah. The first time I met her, I was like, can this girl be real? Like, she was only 23, I think, when I met her. Oh my gosh.
She's an old soul.
She is, isn't she?
Yes.
I've always enjoyed listening to her on the calls when Del Rey has her as a guest or whatever. She's so good.
Mm-hmm. Her heart is in the right spot, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And for her to jump on like this, you know, she didn't need to do that. And she's been traveling a ton, so we've been trying to line it up. And she's like, okay, I still want to do it. Does this week work? I'm like, yes. So I thought that was really sweet of her. Because not everyone's willing to do that. Some people be like, look, we're not even linked, you know? So I just really have a lot of respect for Lacey. So anyhow, okay, I wanted to talk to you guys about a virtual event. And we don't have to go into detail about this, but at the event, those of you that were at the event that we were all at, you know, they went through the virtual event. Now, you girls did, let's see, Jenna spoke on it, Andrea spoke on it, I think Sarah Miller was on it. Was anyone else on the virtual event? I didn't go through everyone's. Did it? Okay, that was really good today. I thought that was awesome. So are we going to shoot to try the new, how that lady presented? Is the goal to shoot for, should we do Sunday night?
I think so.
Okay. So we're not going to figure it all out right this minute, but what everyone needs to do, wait, is that this Sunday?
Mm-hmm. The 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I say for sure either Sunday or Monday.
I'm fine doing that. We just need to organize it ASAP.
Yeah.
Did you guys print out the pictures that I didn't do anything fancy. I just transferred them. But because
Andrea and I are,
Out for me.
oh, sorry, we're hosting a virtual event tomorrow night on how we learned about it this weekend, and we can give you feedback after on how well it went.
Okay, you broke up. Say that one more time.
So Andrea and I are doing a virtual event tomorrow night on the timeline that we learned about this weekend. And so after that, we can give you some feedback on how we felt it went and if we need to change anything.
So you two are following the timeline and doing one tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
is it just you two doing the posts?
Yeah, but then we also have a video of Rachel's transformation that we're posting.
Okay.
So it's one of my persons who wanted to do a virtual event,
Mhm.
and we had already planned on doing a virtual event, and then all of a sudden it was perfect timing that we learned this new way. So we're going to try it out tomorrow night.
Are you pre-recording videos?
We have some pre-recorded and some will be live.
Okay,
I can take a picture of the timeline we have printed out.
Well, can you add us to your event just
Oh,
to
yeah.
get ideas?
I suppose that's here, huh?
That'd be good.
Just so
Yeah.
we can all learn from this of how to do it.
Sure.
Okay, I have a question. It's Jenna. How long does it, because for like the half an hour where you post the videos that are already recorded, if they're pre-recorded, sometimes it takes a long time to get them to upload and post. So I'm curious if that's going to be an issue.
Right.
Because live videos actually go right up, but when I've done like pre-recorded, it seems like it takes forever for them to actually post.
Yeah.
I mean, mine never take more than like 30 seconds or a minute.
Depends on my internet.
Yeah. That's
Maybe
actually a good
how
question.
long they are.
Yeah. And most of our videos are 5 minutes max. And I have spacing time in between each video to allow for, whatever we need. And it's allowing time to post it, but then also time for them to read whatever we posted.
I'm going to stop recording because no one needs to hear this part that's not on.